Alright guys, back at it again. It's kind of weird. I figured that this would be the easiest part, putting everything back together, but it's almost like I don't even know where to start because I got so much stuff going on. So it's kind of making my head hurt trying to think about all this. But what I'm starting with, well, I've already done the doors obviously, and I've done the hatch, but I've hinged it anyways. But I still need to, where the hinge bolts to the car, I need to put seam sealer on that, just like how I did on the door hinges. You need to do that with the hatch hinges as well. But you're really going to need two people for that. As for now, I'm doing the sunroof. I can do that by myself. Put everything back together. It's just there's clips right here, up here. Same thing on this side. But the seal is on. Let me flip it over for you. The seal is a little tricky as far as remembering how it goes, because it has that metal piece in here. It goes across, and it's basically like a big washer for these screws. And then you're going to need to put some sealant down underneath between the metal sunroof and then the underside of this rubber seal. Because when you take it off, it has there's a rubber seal. There's a seal there when you take it off. So when you put it back on, you want to make sure that that you put that seal back on there. I just use silicone. So hopefully that'll be good enough. But here's what it looks like. It's looking good. It looks like a brand new part. So that's always nice. You just got to I kind of cleaned off my seals. I fill up the bathtub with warm water, and I put all my seals in there. And actually, the wife volunteered to clean those seals out for me, so that was nice of her. And but everything's ready to go. I'm going to try to get this thing mounted. So here we go. Here it is with the here's the sunroof, and I've kind of put some masking tape around it to help protect the paint, because I don't know if I'll be able to get it perfectly in there the first time. Of course, it's got a rubber seal on it too, so it'll probably be okay. But I went ahead and just did it because, being the cautious person that I am. You want to come from the top, lower it in. There it is, set in place. Now we just need to go up underneath and bolt it in. Alright, here it is on the inside. I got all my shims over here. A smarter guy would have been able to, would have written down how many shims go where. But, I don't know where he is. So, you got your bolts right here. And basically you just fit them up inside. The lighting is not really good in here, so I probably won't videotape this. But you just get your shims, you put them up in here, and then this piece right here, he uses longer shims right here. So, and you just kind of level it out. You go up top and look at it and see how it's sitting. It's pretty straightforward. So. I'm going to shut the camera off because I don't want to torture you guys through this bad lighting. And so I'll come back when I'm done. Alright, here it is, leveled out. Best as I can get it anyways. Sorry for... the paint is really... has all my prints and stuff on it, so please excuse that. But the level looks pretty good. Right here in the middle, I don't know why, but I can't get it to really, it's like the middle needs to come up, the front part, but there's no way to adjust that, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But it's not too off. It's not too bad, but you know, maybe I'm just being a little bit too picky. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with this piece, but you know, I had to use extra shims on this bar on the back corner here. Actually, the shims placed about right here in the middle, and I stacked the shims extra high right here, and it's still not perfect. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to re-shim this probably later. I'm worn out right now, and or I might just find somebody that actually knows what they're doing. You know, somebody that works with sunroofs on a regular basis, and maybe they can help me out there. So anyways, there it is for now, and moving on to the next project. Hey guys, we're gonna do the rear hatch here. We're gonna put the seam sealer where the hinges are. So little tip here, you know you're gonna use this. It's already been opened, so it gets a little bit hard at the tip, and you can either use a heat gun and heat the canister up a little bit right before you use it, or you can do this, just leave it out in the sun for about 30 minutes right before you use it, and it'll be nice and soft whenever it's time to use it. All right, we got the hatch off. Here's what we're going to be doing. Right here is where the hatch mounts to. I mean, look how nice that looks. I don't know if you remember it from before. I'll go ahead and put a picture of it, what the before picture looked like. You can see it came out really well. I got new seam sealer all throughout, and you know, I think the car loves me for it, so that's always a good thing. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to put sealer on right around here. I'll make a figure 8. Oops, where am I going with the camera here? I'll make a figure 8 right here. Now I remember whenever I was taking this wire out, this was actually from the hatch. It goes down the side of the hatch, and this connects to the windshield wiper. I'm sorry. This connects to the windshield wiper, and this right here would connect to the rear defrost. But I remember when I was looking at it, when I was removing it, I might have shown this to you guys too. This looks very, very peculiar here, like a burn-through spot on the harness, and which is not good. And also, right here on the tape, it looks like it got a little hot right there as well, and melted something. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and let's see what we can find here. Well, this is easy enough to get to, so I'll just go ahead and install it like this. I just want to make sure that there was nothing wrong with the actual wire down below before I install it, and make sure that I would be able to get to it much easier. So we'll go ahead and put this through. Alright, this wire right here goes to the rear defrost. I had to cut it from this harness. That was the other end of it, and so the other end of it is stuck in here somewhere between here and here. So I got a new toy here. Well, it was a really cheap, I don't know, what do you call them, an endoscope. I just got it off eBay for about $10. So let's try it out here and see what we can find. I'm going to see if I can stick this down in there, and hopefully I can see something to better locate this wire. Alright, now check that out. I was able to use this little claw. This is a different tool, separate tool. It's got a little claw on it that when you push this in, it opens up the jaws. I was able to stick that in there and use that camera to kind of see where I was and able to latch onto it. So good. So far, so good. They have all these ground connectors that, I mean, who uses that many ground connectors? It's pretty frustrating. Out of both of these kits, I don't have any female connectors for these blue pieces. Oh well. That's my rant for the day. So what I'm going to use is one of these right here. It's just a connector that you don't unplug, which I shouldn't need to unplug this. So I'll just go ahead and use this. I know I could solder it, which is supposed to be the best method, and shrink wrap, but I'm too lazy to do that, so I'll just do this. Okay, the good news is I got this rewired. Bad news is I fished it out of the wrong side. This has actually got to go through, all this has got to go through all the way to the back, to the underside there, to the back side, I mean. So hopefully I'll be able to fish this back through the opposite way. Should be able to pull this and at least get halfway, and then maybe this is stiff enough to be able to push it the rest of the way. It's fed through, finally got it. It's looking good there. Just make sure that's facing inwards, obviously. This has got some nice slack in it. And the other end of our connector right here. This will just plug in right here, right there. I guess I'll go ahead and put it in now. Probably regret that, but if not, it's not too big of a deal. Gosh, I need to be a better cameraman. I'm sorry if I keep missing shots here. Trying to hold the camera and do something at the same time. It could be a little tricky sometimes. So let's plug this in right here. That way I don't have to worry about it losing it again. There we go. Here's our little connector right there. You want to make sure there's no metal showing. Don't need anything shorting out again. Right here. And that just... this right here, this just pushes in. I'll go ahead and put that in that way. Gosh, there it goes again. I'll go ahead and put that in that way. That's why I got a tripod. It being up and installed, it might be a little bit difficult to get to. So just go ahead and set that up there like that. And there we go. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and install the hatch before I put everything else in. That way it's more it's lightweight, and all that is just pretty straightforward. So it's not going to be, there's no huge benefit of installing it out here as opposed to on the car. So I'll go ahead and get it going. Alright, guys, I have to apologize. I had to just hurry up and get this done. It wasn't, basically you just I put a figure 8 on the seam sealer, on a figure 8 around the 2 holes that's on the car, not on the hinge. I had the hinges bolted up to the hatch like you saw, and basically we just come over here and lowered it onto the car, made sure that the bolt holes would pass through right over there, and it just bolted it down. It wasn't too complicated. I'm sorry I didn't get that on camera, but if you can just maybe use your imagination this time. But real easy, you know. So there you go. Now that is all sealed up. I can finally start putting things back together here. And it's tough because on a restoration, remember I'm restoring this car, I'm not just going to throw everything back together like I'd like to. But because all these parts are used, so you got to take your time, like stuff like this. This was dirty. This was really dirty. So I had a bucket out here, and I cleaned all these little rubber parts off. You know, just little tedious things like that takes up your time. That where you wish you could just throw it all back together, but you know it's a restoration, so I'm going to try to do it right, and that way it will last for many years to come. So that's why, you know, it's putting the car back together. I know if you're not restoring a car, you're just wanting to get it back on the road, then yeah, I mean it's not too hard. But if you're trying to restore a car, you know, even the reassembly can take a long time because you're having to go through each part and restore it individually, not just, you know. So even when I get back to the tail lights, when I do the tail lights, I'm gonna give them a nice polish. I'm gonna do a wet sand buff on the tail lights and the side marker lights. You know, just things like that. You know, it's gonna take some time. So I appreciate your guys' patience with me, because believe me, I want to drive this car as well. So as much as you want to see it, I want to drive it even more. So anyways, just wanted to, you know, kind of touch base with you on that. So let's go ahead and get this hatch put back together. So stand by. Windshield wiper, rear windshield wiper, and here's the ground right here for the here's the ground cable. It's for the rear window defrost. So, but what I had to do, you know, you have to make sure that you on your grounds you sand it back down to metal so you can get a good ground. All right. So I went ahead and did that, and we'll go ahead and connect it right now. Alright, here's what it looks like up here. All done. Looking pretty nice. You can see the seam sealer underneath the hinges. And then you got the little plugs, like there's a plug over there. That's for the washer nozzle. Okay. Now, however, when I work my way back over here, I noticed, if you look down in here in this crack, you can see right there, where you go, right there. Can you see the hole? Let me show you, so it's not just a trick of the camera. There's my hand up underneath, and you can see the seal there has actually cracked away enough to let moisture go through that. So man, that's too bad. What I'll probably end up doing is having a window shop put urethane on here, redo this, because I can actually see there's a space. It looks like, see that right there? Right there. And now I'm pushing on it. Yeah, right there. You can see it. The seal has actually come off the car there, so it looks like I'm going to have to reseal this glass, which was the main reason I didn't take it off before I did the paint job. I'm just glad I found it rather than, you know, go with it and then a bunch of water gets in the car when it rains. So another ordeal to tackle with this car. But I'm going to be happy once everything's taken care of and I'm able to drive this thing down the road, so it'll be all worth it. Alright, moving on now. Alright, I just realized I'm going to have to delay that on the hatch a little bit because of this. Actually, not because of that, but because of this. The locking mechanism for the rear hatch. And more specifically, this little rubber gasket. It goes on the inside of this right here, all the way around. So when it mounts to the body, it seals it, you know, so no water can get in. Well, this one is pretty much has had better times. So I ordered a new part from Toyota. Hopefully it'll be here soon, because if you look up here where it goes, this is actually the underside. It goes on the top side here, right there. But I can't mount that latch mechanism because I won't be able to get to the inside when I need to mount this. So rather than do things more than once, I'm just going to have to wait for the part to come in. I ordered a bunch of parts from Toyota, little things like that, gaskets and bolts and nuts that hard to get to. Here's an example of one of those parts that just takes time out of your day. Just a simple piece that goes right here to cover this hole for the rear windshield wiper, and it was all you know, nasty looking and everything, so I cleaned it up and repainted it, put some clear on it. So all that took some time, but it's finally ready. So, and it looks good, so let's put it back on. Hopefully I'll get it on the right way. Very careful here. Don't want the wrench to slip off. Alright guys, a little bit more part of the restoration. We're gonna go SEM trim black.
You have a situation where, you know, I will think about this all the time.
Alright, check it out guys. Got all the trim pieces cleaned up and they're ready to paint with the trim paint. A lot of stuff there, but hopefully it'll turn out good. It turned out really well on my test pieces. Also over here on my my headlight trim pieces, turned out really good. I didn't even take a before picture. I should have done that, but it looks almost like brand new, or like it would have looked brand new compared to what it did look. It was all faded and just real tired, you know. So that trim paint really cleaned it up. So hopefully we'll have some good luck with the rest of it. It should work out. Here's the door handle. Looking nice. So here goes. Oh, let me before I forget, let me do a close-up so you can see. Like for example, right here. Oh, let me get this piece right here. Put it in the light, kind of, so you can see how faded it is. You know, just looking to be refreshed, and hopefully we can do that. I'll do a before and after on this. Alright guys, we got it all painted. Looks good. Pretty happy with everything. There are a couple of things that for some reason, like the windshield trim, it didn't really take too well. You can see it's not really glossy looking, but I don't know what's going on with that, why it would not, but it does look better. It does look better than it did. Just not as well as like pieces like this, you know. Here's that piece that, you know, looks really nice. These shinier pieces like this up on the door, the top of the door trim, they didn't take as well either. You can see there's a little bit of like, I don't know, frostiness to it or something. Maybe I should have scuffed it down better. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. So we'll call it a go. And here's a comparison, so you can see. Like this is a trim piece that was off of a spare door, and it's faded. And here's the same piece right here that I redid, and you can see, you know, the redone piece looks a lot better. So there you have it. While you have the gas neck grommet thing out, whatever you want to call it, I went ahead and cleaned these up. They were really nasty looking, like kind of like that. I guess I didn't get that spot very well, but it's a lot better than what it was. So they're nice and clean. All this is real nice and clean, like brand new. So ready to install. Also, the fuel door right here. This is the spring. A lot of times you'll see on the 86s that spring is gone, so the door just flaps around. But this one I got off of an 85 GT, or a Celica GT, and it fits nicely. So, and it does the job. So I'm sure there's a lot more cars you can get that from, but I just happened to find one off of a Celica, and it was in the salvage yard. So. All right, now we're gonna do the put the windows and do the door what we can with the putting the door back together. Of course, I'm still waiting on those the gaskets for the door lock piece. So, but I can do a lot. I can get a lot done without those. So I'm gonna just do what I can, and here it goes. All right. Start with this window. I think I remember how everything went. Passenger side, by the way. That up there. Just test it out. We're gonna stick this on there and see. Everything working good. All right. Okay, now we're gonna do the door handle. Got this plastic clip right here. Got to make sure you have that. That's the one that gave me so much trouble when we're moving it. That rod. So we'll go ahead and stick the door through the front. There we go. Okay. I'll show you here. Alright, that top rod, that's the one that goes in to the door handle clip. And the bottom rod down here, that's the one that goes to the door locking mechanism. So I'm going to leave that for now. And we're going to clip that in place. I'll show you here. Alright, that top rod, that's the one that goes in to the door handle clip. And the bottom rod down here, that's the one that goes to the door locking mechanism. So I'm going to leave that for now. And we're going to clip that in place. Let's see if I can do this while holding the flashlight, not knocking the camera over. Just got the handle sitting in there right now. Actually, if I remember correctly, I might want to bolt. I'm going to go ahead and bolt the door handle in first with these right there, and on the other side, because when I get that rod positioned, it's hard to get to that bolt that's on the other side. So I'm going to put the bolt on first, make it a little bit easier on me. Alright, we just got to push that through right here where I just had it, and then I took it out. I'm trying to narrate at the same time. Push it all the way through. Look at it from the crack here. It'd be a lot easier. It's a lot easier to get to from the top. Just need to push that through and then lock it down with the. Let's see if I can. Right there. All right, and then this plastic piece comes over. There it is. Alright, now that's in there. Okay, let's do a little test. Okay, now we're going to do this little piece right here. This goes, you know, on the door. It kind of stabilizes the door so it's not flinging open and everything. I forgot what the name is called, but there is actually a name for this. But one thing that's interesting I was wanting to show you was if you look on top right here, these are actually directional. Alright, this is R. There's an R right there. There. R705, and then on the other side there's an L. L705. So depending on which side you're putting this on is you need to position it like the you know, as such. So R is going to be facing upwards. This is the passenger side door. So we're going to sit that R upwards and mount it like this. And for the driver's side, you know, you would just flip it over and do the other side like that. So it's kind of an interesting deal. Alright, and since I got manual mirrors, I just put this plug in this door hole right here. Like that. And on the outside of the door, there's a little hole right here. That goes little bump stop here. you ever want to be humbled, this is a good way to do it. Try to put one of these in. All right. Now you see how the door stops right there because of that piece you put in. All right. Now let's see. Do we want to do the glass? Yeah, we'll put the glass in. Example of when you're doing a restoration, things that just come up out of the blue. Like I was going to put the door glass in, so no issues there. But these little tracks right here and these little rubber pieces inside the tracks were filthy dirty. So instead of just putting it back in there like that, I had to drop everything, get a bucket of warm water and some I use this what do you call that stuff? Scotch Brite, the gray. I have red as well. Alternate between those, and then I had to clean them up to where I'll feel much better about using them. I hate putting the dirty parts back on the fresh car, so that's just another thing, another example of why this process takes so long. All right, here's those trim pieces again. I was looking back over this stuff, and remember I was telling you about how the windshield trim didn't look as good? Well, it's just a little bit different material or something, not as shiny. So it's got that matte look to it, and it still turned out good though, as you can see. So I kind of take back what I said about it not being happy with it. So because I think it'll look good.